finally, I get to have this conversation with you. And I am super excited about this. So I have been doing a series of interviews with clients. And I usually do a series every year called the Believe series. But this year I wanted to do a series called Possibility. And I wanted to just highlight people from various backgrounds and different stories, because I think that we get inspired when we hear someone else's story who kind of is experiencing the same thing that we have experienced. So you're here today, and I've been wanting to talk to you for such a long time. So will you introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are, who are you being in the world, and how are you supporting people?
Oh my goodness. So my name is Karla Silver. Obviously, you can see that right there. Karla Silver, and I help professional or serious network marketers build and automate their businesses online so that they're not doing that spamming people on social, friends and family thing. And really, mostly importantly, are building a business that they can feel that they love. And I think that's true for any business builder. And who am I being? I am, frankly, let's just put it this way, I am being a multi-million-dollar business owner. That is who I am being. And there's a story behind that, which I'm quite sure that you and I will get into in our conversation today.
I love. So I want to tell this story about how I met you, because it's actually an honor for me to be able to be on this journey with you and support you in the way that I get to. But I met you. You guys all know my friend Molly Mahoney. I talk about her all the time. I met you at Molly's event at her home. Has it been like 3 years now?
I think so.
Maybe 4 years, maybe a little bit longer. We were on a panel together. That's where I met you. And so we're on this panel, and I'm telling this story about how I want to have my first 6-figure month, right? And I'm like, but I haven't done it this year. And I think it was like October. And I said, but I've done $86,000 is my biggest month this year so far. And we go on through the panel, and everybody kind of claps and says, well, that's amazing. But I'm sitting here like, but it wasn't 6 figures. And at the end of the panel, you said, hey, I wanted to say something to you. And you said something to the effect of, I just want you to understand that $1 million business is just $83,333,000 per month, and you've done 86. And in that moment, I was like, holy crap, I've got the notes in the making to do this $1 million business.
It's so funny. We're always so focused on that the big number benchmarks.
Yeah.
And then of course the $1 million business, but it's just a little reframe that made a big difference for you. So I'm grateful.
Made a huge difference. And so this is what I love about you. You are a badass, superstar, phenom, rock star, all of those things. You have run multi-million-dollar businesses before. You are building a brand underneath your own name right now on your own. And again, I get to be a part of this journey. And so I don't want to take lightly that you come to the table with guns, big guns.
They're getting bigger. The COVID made my guns really huge.
And that's why I wanted to kind of center this conversation today around scaling and growth. And so I know when you started, you came in and play big, and the conversation was hilarious to me because you were just like, I don't even care what you're selling. Here, take my money.
It was true. It was totally true. Do you want me to tell that story?
Sure,
I'm super happy to tell that story. So, and I tell this story actually all the time to my tribe, because I want them to use what you used in their business. So after I met Shamika at Molly's event, I followed her on social media, and she started posting in a way that was so incredibly magnetic that I just knew, Shamika, that I needed to work with you. I knew that I needed to work with you. And I had a couple of internal excuses going on for a while. Well, I already have a sales coach, or I have this other stuff. But I would talk to, in my meetings with my coaches, I'd be like, I just got to work with this Shamika girl. I don't actually really know what her programs are, but I have to work with her because the way that you were demonstrating the work you do with so many amazing entrepreneurs was so compelling. And our first conversation, and I actually think that this story is even better because it gets even better. I finally got you on Messenger or on the phone, and I was just doing this in our conversation, waiting for you just to tell me what it was going to take and what you had for me. And I was like, I even think I told you, I'm like, I'm a lay down sale. Just tell me where you think I fit.
You said that for sure.
Tell me where you think I fit, and we'll go there. So it was just the proof that what you do was so overwhelming. The results that you get were so overwhelming for me that I just wanted to get started with you. But here's the funniest part of all of this.
Okay, tell me.
So I am a pretty heavy duty introvert. So building my network marketing business, there was no way that I was going to be able to do, if someone had told me to go do the friends and family thing, those years ago, I would have been out in a heartbeat. And then my whole life would have been completely different than what it's been since then. So over the years, as this wonderful thing that we're on right now called the internet came into being, I actually positioned myself in my business so that everyone that ever wanted to join me came to me. And so I signed up. So I had engineered this whole business of people would sign up, or they put an application in using automation. That would be the time that I spoke to them because, I was such an introvert. So I sign up for your program, and I get in and I'm realizing it's all about reaching out to other human beings. And I'm like, holy heck, what the hell did I sign up for? And I'm all excited. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm all in because I'm coachable and trainable. I will do it. I will get over my damn self. And that's actually proven to be a game changer for my business. That's a whole nother story, but I just thought it was so funny that I had to sign up for whatever you had, yet it was the thing that I completely didn't want to do at all ever in my business.
I love it. So, but let's talk about some of the things that have transpired for you since you've been doing this thing that you definitely never wanted to do at all in your business.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest results and turnaround moments for you?
Well, the big thing for me is that wasn't so much. I had all these fears in my head that were completely and totally made up. They were made up fears. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that there was a way to really reach out to people in a way that I'm helping them, in a way that didn't press all my introvert buttons. Yes, I had to do some things that I was scared to do. Yes, I had, like anything, guys, like I'm not any different than anybody else, right? There were things that I had to do and get out of my way and resolve in my head. But the impact that incorporating some of the amazing things that you teach has been into my business has been insane. We have literally done this year in the first 45 days of 2020. Well, 2020 was the number one year first, as far as income revenue for my business. And then, yes, but the good news is that we did almost half of that in the first 45 days of 2021.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought my version would be snappers. Yeah, I totally celebrate that. And I say that not to say, oh yeah, this is what we've done, because it's been a whole hell of a lot of hard work. Mm-hmm. But the impact that interacting with humans has had on my business has changed everything.
Yeah.
And we've been able to do things that we weren't able to do before at all because we were constrained.
Yeah, I love it. So in the description of this recording, I wrote, we're going to talk about scaling the easy way by doing the one thing that most people don't do. And the one thing that most people don't do isn't reaching out. It's the scariest thing for you. So the fastest path to cash is usually the most courageous.
I tell you all the time, success does not take time, it takes courage. And I have literally taken that to heart. And I realized that the more, and I was afraid even to be more me, if that makes sense. The more I allow myself to deal with the things that hold me back, the more that I work on expanding my idea of what's possible, the more possibility comes.
I love it. Yeah.
And it's not like I never knew this before, but sometimes you just need to relearn it over and over and over and over again.
Absolutely. So you're now in Next Level Authority Mastermind. You've been in there for a while. And so one of the things I know about you is you love to work. You are a hard worker. And I believe that there's a misnomer out there, or something that a lot of us believe, that in order to have uber successful businesses, build multi-million-dollar empires, it means we have to sacrifice our living, our life, our vacation time. We have to grind from morning to night. And as business owners who are building these empires around our own personalities or our own brand, that's like ourself, like you and I are both doing, we also feel like we have to have our hands in everything. And so I would love to just have a conversation with you about that and kind of help put this to rest for a lot of people who may be watching.
Well, I just will say to you, I have not conquered this.
It's okay, neither have I.
By any long stretch of the imagination, but I have gotten to a place, and we are talking about scaling here, so I have gotten to a place where I've been able to bring somebody on board to offload and systematize things in a way that I couldn't just do on my own. I am not out of everything, but I do know that every time I pull out and take care of myself and take that time off is time well spent. And I'm using that word spent on purpose because I still feel like I have to work all the time. So that is something I'm battling, and you're helping me with that for sure. But I do have a goal. I'll share this. I haven't shared this with you. I do have a goal within the next 4 to 5 months. So what month are we in now? March, April, May, June. Before August, and my OBM says we can do it way before then, but not to only work 4 days a week.
I love it. 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 So I want to back up because there's people watching. They don't know you. They don't know what you do. And so Karla has said things like, she's made 50% of her last year's revenue. So it's 2021. We're in the first quarter of 2021. We still have a few days left, right? We still have almost a full month left. And she's already made 50% of her revenue from 2020, which 2020 was actually her biggest revenue generating month ever. And I've been watching Karla this is my biggest month ever. Okay, wait, now this is my biggest month ever. Wait, now this is my biggest month ever. And so I want to kind of give you guys an understanding of the type of numbers that we're talking about. So last month, Karla had $154,000 week, or was it 56? I don't remember.
I think the week was 152 something, but then we did much better than that in the month.
See, see how matter of fact she is about that. It's so normalized for her right now.
Well, here's what's important, right? As you're growing up, at least you've taught me this, and this is what I've experienced. As you're building a business, I am busy making that normal. You use the word normalize, but I'm busy making that normal because I have big goals. Yes. And in order to hit them, I have to make this a regular, okay, that we know that we can do this over and over and over again, and then grow bigger. And plus, on the other flip side is in my business, and I know you're doing this in your business too, is that I'm making sure the foundation, any of the cracks in there are filled and solid, because otherwise if we grow too fast, this sounds like crazy, right? But if we grow too fast, it'll break.
Absolutely. We're looking for the first place that our businesses will break. So I wanted to talk about scaling in this way because I don't think a lot of people think about it. So there's a way that you can try to scale where it puts pressure on you. And so I have this concept of growing to the point where you transcend any revenue that you've ever done before or anything you've ever done before. To do that, you must first normalize it. You have to make it normal. Like, it's just matter of fact that we have people who pay us $10,000 in full, $30,000 to work with us, $50,000 in full. You have to normalize it. So just how you saw Karla say, yeah, we did $154,000 for the week, and then we did much more than that in the 30 days. Not with the like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, but just this, I am normalizing that I am the type of woman who does $154,000 in a week, a day, right?
Well, even more importantly, we can serve those people. And that's where you break, right? You can go, somebody can be a really great salesperson, sell the crap out of something, and then not be able to deliver or have people renew into your programs, all that, the stuff that is the foundation of a big business.
And that's like the second piece of the scaling is like, once you normalize it, go into expanding and you're doing bigger and bigger numbers, you got to be looking for where's the first place that my business is going to break. If I were to bring 30 more people into this program, could I actually handle it? So some of you watching this are asking for the dollar amount you want to make in your business, whatever that next level is. When you look at the number of clients you want to bring on, your business probably can't even handle it. And so you got to be looking at that ahead of time going, what's my next step? If my next revenue goal is to bring in another $500,000 in 6 months or 90 days, how many clients would it take into one program? And what would need to be in place so that my whole business doesn't implode on itself?
Yeah, I had some scary moments last year because we said, all right, we want to bring over the next 3 months or so, or 6 months, we want to bring another 20 people into our highest level program. Well, if we had actually done that at that moment, we would have had a really bad customer. They're not really customers. We would have had a really bad
experience, right?
And experience for our people. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you're in like a chicken egg, like, oh my gosh, well, we need to hire another coach, get that person on board but there's not a lot for them to do.
And that's where courage comes in, right?
Totally. My panties were in a wad for a while. Like, oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this. But we also, guys, and it's also part of like, all right, I am this already, and this is what this person does.
Yeah.
So when I first became an entrepreneur, someone said to me, figure out who you want to become. Who are you becoming? And I've struggled with that for the longest time. I'm like, I don't know, because there's so many choices. I could become a million different kinds of people. And I was at an event and a woman was speaking on stage, and she said, I'm a CEO of a multi-million-dollar corporation. That's who I am. Well, she wasn't. I knew that she wasn't at the time because I knew she had just gotten started in the business, but that was who she was becoming. And that was something that I could identify with. I knew CEOs of multi-million-dollar, or had known in the past CEOs of multi-million-dollar corporations. They were all men and 40 years old and white, but that was my experience. But I'm like, okay, I can glom onto that, mm-hmm. and I can figure out, I can be that. Mm-hmm. So I'm always looking like, who am I? And again, this is right back to your very first question. Like, who are you becoming? So so at that point in time, I was asking myself, all right, so where are we going to break? Do we have to hire somebody? Do we have to spend money? What do we have to do? What do we have to do ahead of time? And yeah, it took a lot of courage to go do that, but it's part of that. Who am I becoming?
Yeah.
What is the company becoming? Mm-hmm. What are our students becoming?
Yeah. So this is really funny. I'm going to out myself. So I was with my branding people because we're rebranding right now. And she asked me to introduce myself. And I said, well, this is how I introduce myself when I'm in a room full of like big power player business owners who are running multi-million-dollar corporations, that I am running the fastest growing training and mentorship program for women entrepreneurs in business who want to build, or women entrepreneurs who want to build $1 million businesses. Right. And I'm like totally leaning into who I'm becoming, right?
Yes.
Totally leaning into it. And I think that's how we live inside of this community. We live in the becoming. We live in the, who would I be or how would I behave if I already had the thing that I desire to create? And no matter how scary that is, you speak it and you own it. You act.
For me, the key is being present with it all the time, because if I'm saying, okay, what decision would that person make right now? Mm-hmm. What would they do right now? And we have really simple decisions we make every day. I don't know, paper or plastic, but we have other big decisions. Am I going to actually go live? Am I going to go ask for that sale? Am I going to spend this money on X, Y, or Z? And I'm, as much as I can, because I'm certainly nowhere near perfect, but doing my best to stay in that place of asking myself, okay, so a year from now, what would be my decision? And then just doing it. And that's the hardest part.
So let's talk about something that makes it a little bit easier to do it, because it is the hardest part. Like aligning yourself with something you have yet to create is freaking scary, because it is a chicken and an egg kind of problem, mm-hmm. You know? Like me doing Game On Live in a live event and making room for X amount of people to show up in the room and buying all the things for those people when they haven't yet bought tickets, that's freaking scary. Right? But $850 something thousand later, I'm like, I'm so glad I took that courageous jump. Right? The thing that I think makes it easier, one of the most powerful tools I think you could have in your arsenal is community. Is literally having people that you can say, okay, I'm about to jump off a ledge. Can you support me? Or here's where I'm getting a little shaky. Tell me something good. Or just seeing people. We were just talking about
I was just going to say, even most powerful for me is watching other people jumping and landing safely.
Yes. We were.
I had the privilege of watching you just jump off that ledge on Game On Live and just soar beautifully. And I told you when we were having our conversation before we went live with all these amazing people, that I just loved watching that. That was so inspiring because, again, that community, including you and everybody else in the community, is something that nurtures you way more than maybe a meeting that you can have here and there with a mentor.
Yeah, I love it. So, Karla, when you think about your journey, if you were talking to you a couple of years ago, because I'm pretty sure there's someone watching who is like both of us. Like, a few years ago when I was like, I'm going to do $100,000 a month, had no idea how it was going to happen. I was actually looking at, one of my mentors has like this sheet that we filled out. And 5 years ago, I'd written into the sheet that 2020, I would be running $1 million business. It had all these things on it. And I was like, holy crap. That actually came true. And I wrote that 5 years ago. When you think about the you that you were before, what's some wisdom that you want to pass on along that in hindsight you now have that has served you well to this point?
And I'm not saying this because I'm on with you. I'm a big believer in coaches and mentors. So I've always invested in somebody to help me move forward to the next level. But
I want to point out too, she is now currently being supported by multiple mentors.
I have two. Yeah. So I have three actually, but 2.5.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying this because I'm on with you, but it is the people you surround yourself with. The old adage, you are the sum of your income is the sum of the 5 people you're around. I believe that with all of my heart. In my network marketing businesses, when I didn't get out of my way and travel to Cancun to be with the leadership, or to wherever to be with the leadership, or fly to all the way across the country to Australia to be with the leadership, the reason that I did that wasn't because I did want to go to Australia or Cancun or whatever, but I went to Cancun once and I had $18. 18. Thank goodness it was an all-inclusive resort.
I can relate.
But I had $18, but I did that because I knew that my best thinking had gotten me exactly where I was, broke. And your best thinking will get you to 20K a month. And your best thinking will then get you to 30K a month, 40K a month, 50K a month. So I do whatever I can to get around people as much as I possibly can, even though I'm a homebody. So COVID hasn't really changed my life that much, except for I haven't been able to travel. So I'll get my introverted little butt somewhere to get that connection as much as I possibly can on Zoom, but even more preferably in real life, because there's something about that energy in real life, that ability to transfer energy and thought. I know that's kind of woo, but energy and thought is extraordinarily powerful.
Yeah, I love it. I think if I were to go back and look at, so I want you guys, if you're just joining, you're listening to Karla Silver, who is someone who is a business owner who does multiple six figures in a month. And we've been just talking about her journey of being part of our community. I'm just going to reveal to you guys my new name, Shamika International. And so I'm like,
I love
it. And the biggest thing we're talking about right now is community. Like, I think we overlook how important it is who we actually surround ourselves with. And it's not just who we live with, it's who are our examples. Are they complainers? Right? Are they like, who are our examples? Who's showing us the example of possibility? Who is showing us how to behave when your back is against the wall? Who's showing you to keep your head up when COVID is going on and break all your freaking records that year, as opposed to going around like Chicken Little, like the sky is falling? Who are you surrounded with? I think that's so important. And I think it gets overlooked big time for so many people. So thank you for sharing that, because I think it's a huge part of your success. It's a huge part of my success. When you get surrounded by people who are doing multiple six figures in a month or $1 million in a month, you go, well, or in a day, right? You're like, well, why the heck can't I? Especially when you're in relationship with those people, you know? They're just normal people, just like you.
It's everything, Shamika. It's everything. And it's everything you put in. I know we're winding up, but I can see into my next door neighbor's family room when I go out from my office at night, and the news is on every single moment of the day. And I'm not, this is just my personal opinion. Like, I don't believe in watching and letting that stuff in. I don't want any of that negative stuff in my head. If it needs to be there, and someone will tell me something I need to know. But everything, it's from everything from watching the news all the way up to where you spend your vacations and where you go and who you surround yourself with. It's everything.
I love it. So I want to
thank you. By the way, I just want to say, I know that this isn't about Shamika, but I will just want to say thank you so much for creating this community of amazing, badass men and women. Well, man and woman.
Man and woman right now. Well, there's a couple of men in sales school, so, it balances out. I have to catch myself too. I'm like, okay, there are gentlemen who are hanging with the ladies right now. And I love it. I love serving them. I want to end this by celebrating you, though, because you don't celebrate enough. And you are incredible. And you are giving so much to so many people and changing lives. And the money that you are making is reflective of that change. You have made 50% of last year's income already. And we're only just over 2 months into this year. And what that tells me is you're making a huge ass difference. Karla, that's not a cuss word. I knew you were going to say that. Can you guys do me a favor and just help me celebrate the heck out of Miss Karla Silver and all that she is doing in this world? I'm looking for my clapper. There it is. And here we go.
love you guys. Thank you, Tamika.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being generous and sharing your story.
My honor.
So excited to continue to watch you soar like nobody's business. Yay! All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching my show, my channel. Here's what I want you to do. If you really love what you've been listening to, I want you to subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. No, really, leave a comment, like right now. I'm not gonna stop talking until you leave a comment. Seriously, leave a comment.